Okay, y'all. So I'm back with a lawsuit from Sweetgreens. If you are not familiar with Sweetgreens, it is a fast casual salad place, and yeah, I used to eat Sweetgreens every day. So this is really I don't even know. Concerning is not even the word, but it's very concerning to read something like this. Sweetgreen started in Georgetown at Georgetown University, and that is the Sweetgreens that I would go to. I used to have a shop in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., where I am originally from, and I would walk down the hill from my shop to Sweetgreens every single day. So yeah, when I came across this, I was like, oh, I have to share. Now this was in 2023, and the case has not been decided yet. So, I'm kind of like boycott Sweetgreens, because at this point, why continue to spend money at a place and this is how they're treating people? But let's get into it. Some of the things that they are saying, it is kind of mind blowing. But I'm going to read it for you. Okay. So, Bronx County Clerk, September 14th, 2023. So, these are individuals who work in New York, in the Bronx. Okay. And as you can see, there are a lot of plaintiffs. And this is one of many class action lawsuits that I found. This one is based on racial and gender discrimination, but I found other ones that are based on handicap accessibility, where Sweetgreens was basically like their menus are not handicap accessible. I found other ones that were based on uniforms and them not basically they didn't want to clean black people's uniform in so many words. So and they actually lost. They just lost. That's recent. And I might do another video on that, but they just lost that case. So they did have to reward their employees in that particular class action lawsuit. But this one right here is ongoing. Okay. So the nature of the action, this arises out of a discriminatory and hostile work environment on the basis of gender and race created and fostered by the defendant. The defendant is Sweetgreens. Okay, they're asking for compensatory and punitive damages, attorney fees and costs. The venue is going to be New York. All right, so we see all these plaintiffs right here: Alvarado, Arias, Griffin, Riviera, Henry, McClure, Stevens, Williams, and Fuller. Defendant Sweetgreens owns and operates a national chain of approximately 180 restaurants that offer handmade, ready-to-eat salads. Now, I have also been reading articles on Sweetgreens where they have not been profitable since they got a whole bunch of funding a couple years back. So Sweetgreens may not be around for much longer. All right. And then, so Sweetgreens is one defendant, and Izquierdo as a head coach, he's another defendant. Upon information and belief, head coach Izquierdo. Head coach is basically the general manager. The term that Sweetgreens uses for general manager, but Izquierdo made the decisions for the employees of Sweetgreens 55th Street and Park Avenue restaurant, including decisions regarding hiring, firing, promotions, work assignment schedules, and determining the rate of employee pay. Ventura is another defendant, and he is a Hispanic male resident of New Jersey, and he was the head coach of Sweetgreen's 67 Wall Street location. So, I mean, these people are heading locations that are in very good areas, Park Ave, Wall Street, yeah. And they probably are dealing with a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming in. So they need a great staff, but you need great leadership. Okay. So they're just saying Ventura exercised managerial authority over plaintiffs McClure, Stevens, Williams, and Fuller, acting as their direct supervisor. He had authority to hire and fire. Gotcha. Ventura made the decisions for the employees of Sweetgreen's 67th Street 67 Wall Street restaurant. What? I'm confused. Did he? Hold on. Okay. All right. Including decisions regarding hiring, firing, promotions, work assignments, and schedules, and determining the rate of employee pay. Oh my. Okay. All right. So let's get into the facts. You have Kiana Alvarado. So, defendant Sweetgreens and Izquierdo created and fostered a discriminatory and hostile work environment against plaintiff Alvarado on the basis of her gender and race. From approximately August 23rd, 2019 through approximately early February 2022, plaintiff Alvarado worked at Sweetgreens as a team member and then as a captain, shift leader. She began working for Sweetgreens at its 55th Street and Park Avenue location, where she reported to Izquierdo, who was the location's head coach. In approximately November 2019, Pablo, a fellow team member who worked in cold prep, told plaintiff Alvarado in Spanish that she had oh my God, sorry. This is too much. Okay, she had dick sucking lips. All right. When plaintiff Alvarado complained to Izquierdo about this incident, okay, Izquierdo told her not to speak to Pablo. Izquierdo took no action against Pablo. Pablo continued to make other sexually inappropriate comments on a regular basis that both plaintiff Alvarado and Izquierdo overheard. By way of example only, Pablo would, on a regular basis, make comments about female customers such as Diablo, mira se culo, meaning, damn, look at her ass. Despite overhearing these comments, Izquierdo did not reprimand Pablo or take any action against him. Pablo also frequently made sexual comments in Spanish to or about other team members. On a regular basis, plaintiff Alvarado overheard him say to a female team member in Spanish, "Let's go to a hotel and have a fucking party." Okay. In or around February 2021, plaintiff Alvarado was granted a transfer to Sweetgreen's meat packing location. Y'all, okay. Okay. In or around February 2021, plaintiff Alvarado was granted a transfer to Sweetgreen's meatpacking location on Grand Zavort Street in New York. In or around September 21, the head coach at the meatpacking location was replaced by Oscar Fierro. After a few weeks of working under Fierro, Hispanic workers at the meatpacking location began constantly making derogatory comments based on race about Black employees and customers. And this is who we are spending our hard-earned money on, because them salads are not cheap. Okay, your salad might be anywhere between $15 and $20. And look at this. Beginning in or around late September 2021 and continuing until at least the end of plaintiff Alvarado's employment with Sweetgreens, many of the restaurant's Hispanic employees, including but not limited to 2 employees named Maxima and Isbeli, would refer to Black employees and customers as niggers on a daily basis. By way of example, if there were some English language music playing in an area where Ismaili or Maxima would enter, they would say, "Turn that nigger music off." My God. The nigger music. Okay. Whew. Okay. This is just the first plaintiff. I don't know if I could get through all of this. During that time, Hispanic employees would also, on a daily basis, refer to Black employees in a derogatory way as Negro or Negra, rather than using the Black employee's name. For example, they would say in Spanish, "Tell eso negro, this Black man, to hurry up." By way of another example, they would say in Spanish, "That Black girl doesn't know what she's doing." By way of further example, if there was a task to perform, they would say to each other, "Give it to the Black guy." Also, during that time, Hispanic employees would regularly refer to Black employees as monkeys. Okay. All right. Plaintiff Alvarado speaks Spanish and was offended by this constant stream of derogatory racial comments. Plaintiff Alvarado complained to Friero on multiple occasions about the derogatory racial comments used by the Hispanic workers. Instead of taking action, Friero advised Plaintiff Alvarado that she had to pick and choose her battles. Oh, really? Okay. On another occasion, Fierro responded to Plaintiff Alvarado's complaint by saying, "You're the one who always has the problem." Look at them trying to gaslight her. On one occasion, Plaintiff Alvarado convinced the restaurant's assistant coach, i.e., assistant general manager, to tell the Hispanic worker that they could not make such comments. However, following the meeting, the Hispanic workers did not change their behavior and faced no discipline for their continued use of derogatory racial comments. The assistant told Coach Plaintiff Alvarado that he had no power to discipline them and that it was up to the head coach to do something. Now, Alvarado, we learned earlier, has the power to hire and fire. He was in control of their schedules. He was in control of the pay, but yeah, he has no power. Okay. Plaintiff, not Alvarado, I'm sorry, the head coach, whoever this head coach is, Ferrero. Plaintiff Alvarado also observed that Fierro favored Hispanic workers over black workers when deciding the number of hours to give them, giving Hispanic workers more hours than he gave black workers. Plaintiff Alvarado also witnessed or overheard Fierro engaging in gender discrimination, which offended her. For example, Alvarado often observed Ismaili lewdly twerking. She was lewdly twerking. They got me so flustered. I can't even pronounce the words. Lewdly twerking in front of Fierro at the Sweetgreen and going into his office alone with him for periods during the workday. No. Imagine what's in your salad. Oh my God. Fierro would constantly let Ismaili work for more than 40 hours per week, more than her coworkers. Well, I mean, she was working for them extra hours. Okay, by way of further example, in or around October 21st, a team member named Ashley complained to People Support, Sweetgreen's human resources, that Fierro had told her that he would talk to her because she had long hair and was beautiful. He had to talk to her. People Support took no action against Fierro, which reinforced to Plaintiff Alvarado the futility of complaining to People Support about Fierro or events at the restaurant. By early 2022, the strain of working in an environment rife with such racial and sexual harassment took an emotional toll on Plaintiff Alvarado with such, I don't even know how to pronounce that, deleterious effects on her physical and mental health. The Plaintiff Alvarado felt compelled to resign rather than endure the future damage to her well-being that her continued employment at Sweetgreens would have caused. Wow! Accordingly, plaintiff resigned in or around February of 2022. Okay. I can't get through all of these. This is too much. All right. So now we on to plaintiff Aria. Is it Aria or Arias? Arias. Leanna Arias. Okay. So Leanna is working at the Park Avenue location with Izquierdo. Okay. Izquierdo ain't right. Okay. So plaintiff throughout Aria's employment at Sweetgreen, Izquierdo favored Hispanic workers over black workers. Specifically, he consistently promoted Hispanic workers over equally qualified or more qualified black workers, gave Hispanic workers more desirable tasks than their black co-workers, and permitted Hispanic workers to play their favorite music loudly while instructing black workers to turn down their favorite music. Izquierdo would often allow Hispanic workers to leave work early if they had finished their tasks, but still get compensated for their entire scheduled shift. For example, if a Hispanic worker finished early, Izquierdo would tell that worker, "I got you," allow the worker to leave without going off the clock, and then sign the worker out only when his or her shift ended. Izquierdo never did that for a Black worker. On a daily basis, Hispanic workers at the Park Avenue location also made derogatory racial remarks about their Black coworkers. Hispanic workers refer to Black employees in a derogatory way as negro or negra rather than using Black employees' names. The references were typically accompanied by a complaint about the Black employee in question, such as that esa negra was too slow. Okay. Plaintiff Arias overheard such references to her and her Black coworkers. Approximately every day, she found such references dehumanizing and offensive. Izquierdo overheard those same comments but found them amusing and would either laugh or ignore them. He did nothing to reprimand or otherwise discourage the workers from making them. Besides fostering the racially hostile work environment through approval and neglect, Izquierdo furthered it through his own comments. For example, in or around approximately June 19, 2019, Plaintiff Arias was wearing her natural hair, Afro-textured hair, when Izquierdo told her, "Fix your hair. Your hair is all over the place. You need 2 hair nuts." He did not make such comments to Hispanic workers wearing their natural hair in the same fashion. A Hispanic manager named Codeine also asked Plaintiff Arias, "What's up with your hair?" It was clear to Plaintiff Arias that these comments were based on her race and her hair's Afro texture. These comments humiliated Plaintiff Arias and made her feel that she could not wear her natural hair. After those comments, Plaintiff Arias wore her hair in a bun at work. Emotional distress. On nearly a daily basis, Izquierdo would also make sexually inappropriate and suggestive comments about female customers. For example, if a female customer walked into the restaurant, Izquierdo would announce loudly enough for Plaintiff Arias and other employees to hear, "She looks good, I would do her." Plaintiff Arias found such comments offensive and disgusting. These are the people making our salads. I just want to reiterate. All right, Oscar Riviere. Okay, so Oscar is working at the Grand Zavort Street location. He was hired at a rate of $15 an hour, and he worked the group line. Okay, he was 17. Okay, oh God, he's a baby. He's 17, working 40 hours a week, 5 days per week. What? During the period between October 15th and 29th, the code Plaintiff Oscar used to clock in did not work. Plaintiff Oscar notified his managers at Sweetgreen's about the issue with the code on a daily basis until it was resolved. Sweetgreen's failed to pay Plaintiff Oscar for his time worked during that period. During the time Oscar worked at Sweetgreen's on a daily basis, he was subjected to derogatory racial remarks made by Hispanic workers about him and his Black coworkers. During that time, Plaintiff overheard Hispanic employees on a daily basis refer to Black employees in a derogatory way as Negro or Negra, rather than using Black employees' names. For example, they would say in Spanish, "Tell eso negro, this Black man, to hurry up." In addition, Plaintiff Oscar overheard the Hispanic employees use negro or negra as a modifier within disparaging phrases used to refer to Black employees. By way of this example, the Hispanic employees would refer to particular Black employees as the short or the stupid negro or negra. Okay. Plaintiff Oscar heard Hispanic coworkers regularly refer to Black coworkers as monkeys. For example, they would say about a Black employee, "This monkey don't know how to toss a salad correctly." And I mean, can we take a moment to just recognize how stupid that comment sounds? They don't know how to toss a salad? Ugh! Such a high cognitive task. Okay. Like, this is too much. Plaintiff Oscar also heard Hispanic coworkers regularly refer to Black customers in derogatory terms, calling them bums or complaining that their teeth are yellow and that their breath smell. How would he know that? Like, how are you even that close to the customer? The Hispanic worker did not make such derogatory comments about customers of other races. Plaintiff Oscar understands Spanish and was offended by the constant stream of derogatory racial comments. I don't know if I'm going to read through each plaintiff because it's repetitive and it is very sad that a company like Sweetgreens starting in a city like DC, albeit in the white area, Georgetown of DC, in a predominantly white university, Georgetown University. However, they have close proximity to Black people. I am appalled and I'm really ashamed, and I will not be going to Sweetgreens any further because this is really awful. This is really awful. That everybody is experiencing the same thing. Everybody's hearing people being called nigger. Everybody's hearing people being called monkeys. Everybody, like, no, no, no. Let me see if she has anything different. This is plaintiff Minaya Riviera. She was subjected to derogatory racial remarks made by Hispanic workers about her and her Black coworkers. She was arrested as well. It's something going on with the people working at 17 now, like, and doing 40 hours? Huh? Okay, she overheard the Hispanic employees use negro or negra. Okay. They don't know how to toss the salad correctly. Plaintiff, I hate these Black workers. They don't clean well and they're lazy. We need more Spanish workers. They have referred to Black customers in derogatory terms, calling them bums. Yes, we heard that already. On at least one occasion, plaintiff Minaya found herself working alone in the middle of her shift. Wondering where her coworkers were, she came downstairs and observed her Hispanic coworkers idly listening to music. Some of them were dancing, with Ismaili twerking in front of Fiero. When plaintiff Minaya complained that she was on the floor by herself while her coworkers were downstairs, she was told to mind her business. Girl, you should have took a video of Ismaili, whatever, because she seemed like she be twerking every day. But I don't know, allegedly. Plaintiff Minaya also observed Fiero giggling with his arms around a female employee as if they were a couple. Was it Ismaili? Because if not, he just embarrassing her with other women. Plaintiff Minaya also heard that a team member had complained to people support that Fiero had sexually harassed her. She also heard Fiero discussing which females he found cute and which ones he found ugly. One time when he was discussing that topic, he called plaintiff Manaya's eye in a flirtatious manner. Fiero's behavior offended plaintiff Minaya and made her especially uncomfortable in light of what she heard about the sexual harassment complaint made by Fiero. Okay. Plaintiff Henry. Let's see what this plaintiff Henry got going on. Okay, so plaintiff Henry is a third level supervisor, and they had the intent of promoting her to assistant coach, assistant general manager, and they were training her at the Wall Street location. Okay, so she's in a high traffic area. During the time plaintiff Henry was at the restaurant, she was subjected to widespread use of the N-word on a daily basis by the restaurant's Hispanic assistant coach and other Hispanic employees. The assistant general managers would address Black and Hispanic employees alike as my nigger. For example, to caution a worker, he would say, my nigger, watch what you're doing. Other Hispanic employees also routinely address each other and refer to other people by the N-word. The head coach was aware of and condoned this use of the N-word. He was sometimes present during the conversations, overheard the use of the N-word, and said nothing. So far, it's Hispanic people doing this to Black people. We haven't gotten anything about a white person doing this so far. Okay, well, I'm just reading through it, but anyway, hold on. I'm trying to see if I can find anything new. Okay, this is new. Okay, so we have Shakira Green. So this is also with defendant Izquierdo. So I'm sorry, Shakira Griffin. Griffin began working for Sweetgreen in June 2019. She was initially sent to Sweetgreens in Brooklyn for training. She was assigned to the Park Avenue location with Izquierdo as the head coach. Izquierdo discriminated against Griffin based on her race. Okay. Griffin had received her food handler's license and completed all classes and qualifications necessary to become a chef leader. Despite her qualifications, Izquierdo passed over her for promotion in favor of plaintiff Alvarado, who was less qualified than Griffin, because Alvarado is partially Hispanic and Griffin is not. Okay. Izquierdo also empowered a Hispanic supervisor, Betsy, to administer disciplinary write-ups, which she would do on a discriminatory basis by writing up Black employees and not writing up Hispanic employees for the same behavior, or writing up Black employees even when they did not do anything wrong. For example, on at least one occasion, Betsy wrote up Plaintiff Griffin for not wearing a name tag, even though Griffin was only one of many employees, including Hispanic employees, who were not wearing a name tag. Betsy did not write up the Hispanic employees for the same infraction. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here we go, 135. Plaintiff Griffin was told about derogatory way Hispanic workers spoke about the Black workers. Yeah, so, you know, I will not, I will not continue to support Sweetgreens. And like I said, this is a pending case. It has not been decided. There have been other class actions against Sweetgreens, but this particular case, it is still pending. And it is just sad to know that you spend your hard-earned money at a place like Sweetgreens, and here they are employing people that are saying things like this, talking about the customers, talking to the staff, my nigga. What? Huh? No. No, 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 no. No. I'm trying to see, because so far we've just seen the racial discrimination. I'm trying to see if there is one for gender. Here, 158, when Black employees complained to the Hispanic employees about the Hispanic use of the N-word, the Hispanic employees would complain to Ventura that the Black employees were being aggressive. Wow. Ventura's and the Hispanic employees' use of the N-word offended Plaintiff McClure. Wow. Wow. In or around May 2021, Plaintiff McClure had a heated discussion with Ashley about a work issue. In the middle of that discussion, Xavier, a Hispanic team member, aggressively approached McClure, put a hand in McClure's face, and said to McClure in an aggressive tone, someday, somebody's going to fuck you up because you need to get fucked up. When McClure complained about Xavier's behavior to Ventura, Ventura said in substance, nobody's perfect, and took no action to discipline Xavier. Ventura also racially discriminated in hiring, pay, and promotion. Ventura hired a white team member named Haley at the rate of $17 per hour. This was more than the $16.25 per hour he agreed to pay Brianna Richards, an African-American employee who he hired in May of 2021. Yeah. Ventura explained to Plaintiff McClure that he needed to pay Haley at a higher rate because she was white, and the customers wanted to see a white person at the register. Ventura also told McClure that he did not want to hire Black people because they were too aggressive, and he did not want to put up with them. Ventura would disqualify Black job applicants based on subjective objections. For example, he would reject a Black female applicant saying she looks like she has an attitude problem. Ventura did not say that any non-Black applicants looked like they had attitude problems. All right. That is enough for me. And yeah, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very bothered by that, and I will not be supporting Sweetgreen any further. All right.